Okay, so in this video, what we want to do is actually build the user interface. All right, so we're going to do more XAML. I don't actually expect this to take too long, but I do want to cover some common mistakes people make when they're doing interface design. So I'm just going to go back over to our project here. I'm just going to go full screen here to help me stay connected. Okay, so what I want to do. All right, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so for right now, I'm going to stick with our basic page that came along with the blank project. So they give us that starting page here. Um, so what some people do is the attributes within the element. So this is our page element. It's our content page. We can actually hit carriage return here to bring these all down. So you're going to see people do like this. Now, you don't have to do that, but that's just one way that you can see all of the attributes. So just like HTML, spacing does not matter. Now, what does matter is capitalization and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of my horizontal and my vertical here. So if I run this, okay, so if I run this, notice how everything's crammed up to the top because I didn't do any spacing. So I want to add some spacing in to the form. But now that I know at least it ran, I do want to show you what happens if I use a lowercase l. All right, so kind of looks okay. All right, but if I run it, what actually is being done is the XML is being rendered at runtime. It's getting pulled in and then being displayed. So it actually throws an exception. Now, the thing that's really interesting to note here is if you look at the name of this, it ends with a GCS, all right? So in my debug, you'll see like debug / timerpro page XAML .g.cs. The G, so this is generated code, all right? So this is runtime generated code that's happening. This class doesn't exist except for during runtime. So you never want to try modifying this class because basically it will get deleted and rebuilt next time you build. So this is just the place that it exploded because we had something not capitalized. So if we view our details, this is our stack trace. All right. So stack traces, these are things that are really, really kind of nice to look at and be able to see what happened and what the exception is. So we can kind of walk down and then we can see at a certain point in time, label not found. So I can actually open that up. So at position 7:3, label not found in Xamarin Forms. All right, so within the schema. Now, I know what I did wrong. So at that point, it makes it really, really easy to see that, oh, well, label is not capitalized. So for me, it's easy. When you're in the middle of it, you'll be like, I don't know what the heck this means. But basically, within XML, we have a schema set of rules, basically, is what it is. And this object, lowercase l, is different than capital L. So it's saying at 7:3. The other thing to note, main fires off first, all right? and I double clicked on it, and then I can see that the main is calling our app delegate. So then the app delegate fires off, so that's down here in iOS. And then it's firing up our app, all right? I kind of talked about this in the last video, how that pulls in, it news up our app. So then our app fires off, and then it's pulling in, so within the main app constructor, when it constructs, it's grabbing our Timer Pro and creating that as our main page. So then we go up to our Timer Pro here, and then we're initializing our component. All right, so Timer Pro, when we're initializing the component, that is the process that's going to take the XML. These are all the components being initialized. So that's the stack trace. These are actually really beneficial to walk through. And I mean, you'll double click here and you'll be like, well, there's no code, I'll just comment this line out. Well, you can't really just comment that line out, because that line is the line that's actually building the user interface. That's the part that's converting all of your XML into viewable objects. So anyways, that's a stack trace. Definitely something to embrace. Don't be afraid of it. Learn it. It'll get you close. And at this point, you can see your inner exceptions, and then you can start to at least get close. 7:3, 7, 1, 2, 3. So 7's my line number. 1, 2, 3. That was 3 right arrow clicks, and I'm just going to make that a capital L. All right. So anyways, once you learn this, it does help. All right. So anyways, that's a common mistake being made. Okay. So I want to add some padding in here. So that's where I'm going to go. So I'm just going to add in. And I'm just going to go with my 20, 20, 20, 20. So I always start there. And then that'll push that down. And I am just going to kind of think about my user interface here a little bit. I think I'm just going to have that be like numbers that are counting down. So I think I'm going to go like a 00, colon, 00, colon, 00. And then I want to make the font size, I'm going to go with the preferred way. So you can actually, so we could do like font. This is not the preferred way, but sometimes it's my preferred way. Because it gives me the ability to granularly say, this is how big I want it to be. All right, I can actually give it a number. But the problem with this number is it's more of a pixel number, not a device pixel number. So 60 pixels looks different on different phones. So the preferred way of actually doing this is by using the font size. And with the font size, you have different sizes you can go with. So you can do like a small, medium, or large. So I'm just going to go large. And that way, if somebody's running like a high resolution phone, it'll be the same size on the high resolution phone versus a low resolution phone. So Xamarin's trying to actually make that easier for us to handle that. And what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a horizontal option. I'm going to center this. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to run this and see what that looks like. Okay, so that looked good. So I want to push that down a little bit more. I'm probably going to push down like 100. So this is my left side. This is my top. Excuse me. This is my right side, and this is my bottom side. So I want to go from my top, and I want to push it down 100 pixels. So that'll make it go closer to the middle of the phone. So then what I want to do is I want to add in some buttons. And my buttons, I'm just going to say start. So if I run this, guess I wasn't running. So cannot assign property content. Property does not exist or is not assignable. Mismatch type between value and property. Show details. So Timer Pro XAML CS, so we know what that is. That's that initialization where it's pulling in those components. All right. Cannot assign property. And it doesn't give us a line number. Mismatch between property and value. So oh, looks like I got some weirdness going on right there. Okay, so I've got a start button, but I don't have my numbers here. I'm guessing some of you guys probably already realized I've got two views being returned to the content page. So that's not a right thing to do. So I need to wrap them in a stack layout. So I want this to actually, well, let's just do it. So now one stack layout gets returned. So this will work, but my start button is going to be right underneath that. So I actually want my start buttons to be down here more. So what some people do, I got used to the cut and copy and paste. So I'm on a Windows keyboard, so I have to use the Windows key and not the Control key. So if you're a keyboard shortcut guy or girl, that's going to drive you crazy. Alright, so I'm going to do another stack layout. I'm going to put my buttons inside here. So I'm going to do a button for my start, stop, and reset. So even though we have stack layouts here, we're returning two stack layouts to one page. So we actually have the ability to stack those. Or nest them, either way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap both stack layouts within a stack layout. So this is very similar to what you would do with like HTML and div tags. How you can just kind of have a parent stack layout. Actually, pop that in one. So I've got a stack layout, and then inside I've got more stack layout. So now if I try running this again, now everything's there. So I want to create some space between these two. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add some padding. Alright, so I want to add some padding here. So I'm just going to go padding. And I don't want anything on the left. I'm just going to push the top down. Actually, I could pad that down, but what I could do is I could just center it to the rest of the page. So I'll do my vertical alignment. And I will just center that. Let's see what that looks like. That didn't look like I wanted it to. So let's so I'm going to do my vertical options. I'm going to actually try center and expand. So that way it'll fill the rest of the open space. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So I might push that down just a little bit here. So is that 100? I'm going to go like 150. It might be a bit much, but let's just kind of see where that's at. Okay, so that looks good. So we've got a start, stop, reset timer. The timer's going to go. I'm looking at my code here, and I think I was explaining, I really wanted to show how even though you're using stack layouts, only one item can be returned to the page. So I threw a stack layout here. It's actually not needed. I think I can get rid of the stack layout. I'm just going to make sure that everything looks the same. I would imagine it would, because I don't believe that stack layout's doing anything at all. The white space is actually being ignored, but I want to have it gone so that way it looks like that. Okay, so I'm just going to run this again. I think it's going to look exactly the same. And then I think I'm going to call the user interface good at this point. Okay, I think we're good. We'll pick up at the next video and actually create the code behind here. Thanks.